At this point, we have the entire continuous delivery system set up. It's about time to start working on the code. That's going to be happening in this episode of the Zero Development Screencast. Hi folks, my name is Jov. Let's see how we're going to be continuing. So first, I want to show you something that what we've worked on the previous episode. It was about running the UI tests on the Firebase, setting up the Firebase. So I just find out afterwards that there is yet another thing that you can find on GitHub, and it's called Android Emulator Runner. And basically, instead of running your tests on the Firebase cloud and doing that setup, you can basically use this one as a runner to set up your tests, how you're gonna be, it's gonna launch an emulator for you. You can set up the emulator setup like configuration, and then it's gonna run an emulator for you and run the tests on that one. So that's about it. Then another thing that I wanted to show to say is that I have also updated the Android Studio from to the latest Canary version, Arctic Fox, I guess Alpha 8 or something, because I had to also update some dependencies, like the compose, for example, went from alpha into beta, as I updated to beta 1, which is exciting as hell. And so I just want to walk you through what actually happened. So let's open, it's one small commit. Let's just quickly go through and see what happened. Basically, the Gradle updated the version. Then another significant thing here is that the JCenter is gonna be dying anytime soon, and it's recommended to start moving to Maven Central. But if there are things that are still not, for example, some libraries that are still not migrated, I use a trick that I learned from Jeroen Mols. He has a great article about that. So basically what we can do in the all repositories, we can still define the JCenter and then include only the modules that are missing. And that's kind of cool thing to track what's not yet migrated, and that's gonna be easier to keep track and then migrate later when they are when they move to Maven Central, and then just get rid of JCenter entirely. And as you can see here, I've updated the tools, build Gradle, the Kotlin plugin as well, to the latest versions, and I've deleted some of the comments that are just automatically generated and they're nonsense. I don't need them. And the coolest point is the Compose version itself, which went from alpha to beta. I didn't have any code before written with Compose, so I didn't have to migrate anything except one thing. Basically here in the main activity, which was auto-generated with the project, I had to change the import for the set content. And basically, it's no longer, the set content is no longer part of the UI platform, but it has a additional dependency for it. And that dependency is this one, the activity compose 130 alpha 3. So it's there now, it's not part of the actual compose platform. That's sort of significant change as well. And then the runtime itself went from alpha 6 to stable. I also had to update the material. And finally, I've also deleted a block in the Android section of the application build Gradle file, which was compose options. They are basically no longer needed. So I just deleted that one. And that's about it. Now if we open the studio, I'm just gonna enter the presentation mode so we can see better. So my idea was to basically start from, let's see actually what we have here. Because this plan here, the project outline, is really part of the README. And I'm thinking that maybe it's gonna be better if I just keep track of everything here in the README file. So the Android client of the Friends app, and then I'll say project outline, and then maybe make it here. So in the project outline, we're gonna have, let's say, account, then just make these sections, but I'm gonna work on them. We are gonna be working on them later as we will define what actually is gonna be happening. But for now, we can focus on the actual account, because I think that's gonna be the entrance of the project. So basically, we want the whole thing to be personalized. So there will be like I don't know. I'm gonna have my own handle, and then it means I'm gonna have my own account, and everything I post will be part of my account. So basically, we have to start by creating an account, and then I think here. I want to also put something like, I don't know, libraries. Yeah, I'm just gonna put libraries used here, but because now I do have a plan to use some Jetpack stuff and coroutines and so on, but so far there is only the Compose UI included, so I'm just gonna keep it like that. And the idea is that this document is gonna evolve over time as as we are gonna be working on a project. We are gonna be evolving this. So that's about it. And I now have I can clean up my to-do list, because here I wanna work on. This is my sort of short-living list of things that I wanna work on next, like small things that are coming. And then here basically we can start with the sign up, let's say, and then here we can define some tests that we want to work on. So basically the sign up is gonna have, let's say, an email plus password plus some validation, and then we can start from there. And then I think we are gonna define some tests based on these assumptions, that there will be an email and a password, and how about maybe a handle, and then do some validation locally before sending that to backend. So that's sort of the starting point where we wanna start. And next, I think we haven't touched anything in the previous series is the UI tests, and I think they're gonna be quite a good part of this project. That are gonna be the UI tests as well. So I want to put some focus on UI tests, and in that sense, I think we can start by writing the first UI test, which is gonna be, let's try to make a sign up, and then I don't want to put too many UI tests, like I don't know, test everything, like whether the views are existing on screen, but rather probe some significant, let's say, functionalities of the app, and make sure that the main flows of the app are working. So I would be able to do, let's say, check the sign up itself, and then also once I have the features themselves, I might do some tests, like, I don't know, let's say do a sign up, do X, Y, and then verify something happened, something like that. But that's something that I'm just imagining in my head. We'll see how everything goes. We can start simple and small at this point. So first of all, let's see here what we have. We have to, first of all, I think we can get rid of the app compat, because right now what we have in the, let me open the main activity here. Here I am extending from the app compat activity, and that's why that dependency was there. It was added by the project itself. But basically, because we are going to be basing the entire project on Compose only, I think we are not gonna, we no longer need the app compat activity. We can use the component activity instead, which is something new that comes with the Compose. This one is no longer needed, and I don't think we need to pull that entire library, at least for now. So I think we can keep it like this. So let's maybe first check this one in. Well, first I had to check in the README. updated the project readme file, and now here we have removed the app compat library and activity. Okay, now we can quickly see if I think I'm running the wrong tests now. I think I have selected the unit tests. And one thing that I've noticed here is that when I'm running the unit tests, in the previous versions of the Android Studio, I was able to select how I'm gonna run them, like whether I use Gradle or the IntelliJ itself. With this version, I couldn't find how to set that up, which is a bit bothersome, because when I'm running with Gradle, you see how long it takes to run the tests. So let's maybe change here to the app itself and then run on emulator and see if everything basically works as expected. So here is the screen, everything should be fine. Back to presentation mode. I no longer need the activity and I'm gonna focus now on the dependencies. So basically that's for the unit tests or for the micro tests. I'm not gonna be touching that just yet, but focus, as I said, on the UI test. And how do we write tests in Compose? Is basically there is a new dependency, which is only one, and that's something that I really like, because previously we had to define multiple. As we can see here, we have for espresso we have at least two, but now with the Compose, there is at least in the documentation that I read so far, there is only this one, and that's pretty okay, pretty good to go. So let's sync first. I'm just gonna, let's see if this still runs, just out of curiosity. No. Okay, that's something else. I think in the packaging options we have to exclude this thing. So let's maybe open the build Gradle. So here what we can say is in the packaging options, exclude this thing here, then sync. I'm gonna run again. Okay, there is one more. I hope that this one doesn't go for way too long. Cool. Now the tests are running, which is a great sign. These are the UI tests, but they require an emulator yet, so it sucks, but yeah. I'm not sure if I know that it is, or it was planned to be possible to run UI tests without emulator being required for Compose, but yeah, let's see how that goes. So here, let me check the scene, updated UI tests dependency. And next, let's finally, here is a package for the sign up. So let's maybe create a Kotlin file and let's write a new test. So this is gonna be my UI tests. That's something that we can start off with, and let's see how we are gonna be going about that. So first thing, okay, my template is set with Jupyter, so I couldn't use the template for the UI tests, at least for now. So then let's maybe do the manual way. So perform sign up. So yeah, I think as I said, I didn't put any too much emphasis on the UI tests in the previous series of the screencast. So now at this series, I want to make that more sort of part of the entire flow. And that's why I think it's gonna be valuable to write some tests in that regard that are gonna be UI tests. But the thing is that how I normally write the UI tests, I like the writing DSL. So when, for example, when I want to show to, let's say, a QA person or somebody from business about the tests, or when they run, when we get the report, they're gonna be able to see, for example, basically in the report it's not very visible, but in the code itself, I want that good documentation part of the test. So I just want to write DSL. So I like to write something like, for example, launch, let's say sign up screen, and then type username. Well, type email in this case. Let's say email at test, or let's maybe do something like this. Then type password. That's gonna be a password, and then submit. And I'm gonna just verify that timeline screen is present. I'm not sure if I can come up with better naming about the verification, but when I read this, I like the way it reads. So it says like perform sign up. So launch the sign up screen, then type email, type password, submit. Maybe there will be some other fields here, like the handle, for example, but I don't know at this moment whether I should just pull the handle out of the email or come up with separate field about the handle, because that's gonna be something that will be editable later. I don't know. So for now, just start something simple. So type email, type password, and then submit, and then verify. And now this is a DSL that does, like, how do I create this DSL? And if I open now the project structure here in the signup package, which is part of my Android tests, I have only the test, and now I want to create a new file where I'm gonna be writing my where the DSL basically is gonna live. So normally I call those classes robots because they are the ones that are basically performing actions, and then from my tests I don't care about how the action is made, but rather what's the action. Like I want to hide the details, the low level parts. So let's see. Maybe a new file, and I'm just gonna call this sign up just robot, and then start off with a function which is launch sign up screen. That's gonna be a function, and now if I open, well, let's close the project. So here it is. So I think I did a bad naming. Yeah. Not sync, but sign. I think I have to rename this. Sign up screen. Cool. And now I need to, this one should return, let's say sign up robot, which is gonna be a class here called sign up robot. And this one will return. This one should also take a lambda here, which is gonna be a sign up robot and return unit. And here I'm just gonna create a new instance and then apply the block. And let's close this one and this one as well. So now this one compiles, and let's type email. It's gonna be a member function here. So the email is gonna be the input. And now I'll need to basically create those components because I don't have anything at this moment. I just have to create them. But let's first make the other thing compile and then work on the to do. So let's see. Back to my thing here and submit. Oops. Member function. So how about maybe moving it on the other side, so we are gonna be seeing that side by side, and then make an infix function for the verification. So basically this class here, and that's gonna be a sign up verification. That's gonna be my block, but it should also return such thing. So let's create a class for that in here. No, outside. So basically there are two classes. One is the actual robot, and then another is the verification. Return sign up verification and then apply the block. Cool. And then inside the verification, I'm just gonna create a function that will verify if the screen is being opened or not. That looks a bit better. Now my test compiles, and if I run, it's gonna fail because of the to-dos there. Oops, I'm running a wrong test. So here it is, and indeed it fails because, as we can say, it's not implemented as it says here, and operation is not implemented. So basically here I should so the way how we are gonna be how we are accessing the UI components is by having a rule. So basically here in the test we have to create a rule and then pass the rule into the robot and in the verification as well from the robot, so that we can have access to the actual UI. So let's see how that goes. So first of all, we can just get this is an annotation that we need to use. This is JUnit4, I mean based on JUnit4. So that in JUnit4 we have rules, and this is something that's already defined for us. So let's see. So we're gonna have a sign up test rule, which is basically we are gonna be using create AndroidComposeRule and then main activity. So this is how we create a rule, and then we are just gonna pass the sign up test rule here. Change here the signature. Oops, I did something wrong. Yes. So I don't know why it cannot create function. Yeah. So here I'm just gonna take it. I think it's gonna be named rule, and that's a let's find out what's the type. Specify type explicitly. Oh damn, that's a long type. So here is gonna be that one. So it's Android compose test rule. Then it takes two generics. One is activity, scenario rule of main activity, and then the main activity itself. That's really weird. I'm not sure if I like it a lot, but let's just pass it here. And then here, make a constructor that's gonna take it. It's gonna be so I can access it. I don't know how to make this shorter. It's gonna be better if I can make it shorter. But yeah. And then here, what I can say to type email is I can do rule on node. And then here are like bunch of matchers that we can use on node, and then with tag, with text, or on node itself, and then we can. It's pretty flexible. So if you check the documentation, there are like bunch of matchers that we can use. I can just use a node with text, let's say, because I'm gonna have hints on them, like for example, email, whatever, and then I can find them by text. Let's say email hint, and then type or perform text input email. So then what's my email hint? Basically I can hard code it, but that's a bad practice. I just want to pull it from the resources, because in the resources I'm gonna have these create in the strings. So let's create local variable, and that's gonna be how can I load something from the resources. I can use the rule, which has an activity, and then I can do get string, and then I'll do r.string email, and then there is no email, so I can just create string value that's gonna have me email, and that's gonna be the hint. But yeah, let's just go simple for now. And then I can do the same for type password. So rule, then on node with text password hint, perform text input the password that was passed, and then that one's gonna be a rule activity get string, like that. I'll just make it a bit to the left, and then submit. I'm just gonna have, let's say, a button that's gonna trigger the actual sign up. So let's say rule on node with text I don't know, sign up, perform click, and the local variable is gonna be rule activity get string sign up. Something like that. And then to verify, we also need the rule. So basically we can pass here the rule, and we can add parameter to constructor. Here is the rule itself, and it has to be a val in order to be accessible in the function here. So we can do rule on node with text, let's say timeline. I don't know, check, or assert is display, and then the timeline is gonna be rule utility get string timeline. So after a successful sign up, I expect my timeline to be opened, and then I'm gonna have some title that it is a timeline there. So yeah. So now my robot, at least till now, is complete. And my test is also complete, and now I just want to see it failing for the right reason, which is gonna be basically composables not being, it wouldn't be able to find a match in the screen. So if I run the test, exactly, so it says expected exactly one node, but could not find any node that satisfies text email, which is basically the failure that I expect. But just to be sure, I'm gonna run this test and open the emulator and see the actual test running. And of course, it launched the screen, but it didn't find anything. So that's actually perfect thing. That's what I expect. But there is one other thing that is missing here, is that basically here, when I say type never mind, doesn't matter. I thought of something, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. Okay. So I think for now we are great. And I'm not sure I want to commit this because it is a failing test, but it is a failing UI test. So in that sense, I think it's gonna be too much of code that will be not committed if I skip committing until I make this test green. So my goal is gonna be to make this test green, but this is sort of more I'm seeing it more like the UI test is like a level above the acceptance itself. So in my view, it's okay to commit this one. So I'm just gonna, because anyway the continuous delivery system is gonna run the UI tests and this will fail, so there won't be any build that will be delivered to our customers or on Google Play at this moment because of that failure of the test. So that's great actually. So I feel okay just to submit this one, to commit this one. So even if I push, I'm not gonna push, but even if I push, I think it's fine. And then I have my strings. So failing sign up UI test, or maybe failing UI test to perform a sign up, something like that. One thing that I noticed is in the strings, the app name is with underscore. I just want to make it with a camel case because I want to follow camel case across the entire project. So let's check that one in as well. And then updated the app name string resource to align with the camel case. Camel case. I don't know whether it should be, yeah, doesn't matter. Good. And now what we can start working on is basically the actual UI. So if I close everything, this is my test, and if I open my activity, basically what we have here is just a greeting hello world, and this is where we have to actually start working on the screens. This is where everything starts. So basically our first screen is gonna be the sign up, and then everything's gonna start from there and continue on. But as you have already imagined, I guess, we're running 35 minutes or more, and I think that's gonna be more than enough for this episode. And in the next one, we are gonna start building the sign up screen, which in Compose is super fun, and it's gonna be simple one, at least for now. I don't imagine too much. And once we have the screen, and then this test will fail for the reason that it is not opening the right screen after making a sign up, then we can go level down and start working on the micro tests and see how that's gonna go. But until then, I think I wish you a great time. Thank you for so much for the time and the attention watching this episode. I hope you find this cool and exciting for the things that are gonna be coming next. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you.